Hello, everybody, and welcome to Secular Ultra Quran, your one-stop shop for everything secular, ultra, and Quran. And boy, do we have a show for you today. Today we are covering Surah 3, verses 84 through 120.
Yeah, we nailed it.
That's twice in a row.
Yeah.
That was a little bouncing thing that you follow along when you do like karaoke.
Right, yeah. We should get one of those, an automated one.
You mean an actual teleprompter?
That does like the bouncing thing, like if you're doing karaoke, yeah.
That's
you should do that, yeah. That's actually a horrible investment, actually. Wow. Let's not do that.
We don't need that.
No.
No one's watching.
No requirement.
No one's watching.
Things happen. And I did...
So we can say anything. We can say like wild, crazy stuff.
Well, the thing is, I would rather we not, because I know that YouTube does that thing where if you say like some crazy stuff in the first...
Oh, I got one. Okay, now I'm not having a panic attack about errors or something.
No, I think
I thought, could be.
It's just the general idea that we are,
super popular.
No, it's the other one where we are shadow banned. Plus,
our viewer left. Bye.
Dude, relax.
I'm just trolling, man.
So we are definitely shadow banned.
Yeah, almost definitely.
That is for sure.
Yeah,
but we got a like, though.
You were saying before that before the show we were talking about the insanity that this country is headed right for.
Yep.
So. Yeah, you had something else that you wanted to mention.
Yes, so Nick Fuentes, the famous internet Nazi.
Right, the actual Nazi, who there was a time a few months ago where he was mad at Trump because Trump he wasn't far right enough on something.
Yes.
Which was insane. And so he was mad at Trump for that. And then he's the guy who said, was it your body, my choice?
Yes, he's going that way. But... so he was doxxed. Right?
Yeah.
And some lady in her 50s showed up to his house and like rang the doorbell. Immediately, he opens the door, pepper sprays her in the face, like boots her down the stairs, grabs her phone and runs inside.
It's intense.
Right? So on my count, that's like, first, you're using pepper spray to attack someone who is probably within their legal right to ring your doorbell.
Yeah, that is, yeah.
Second,
that's probably not illegal.
Yeah. Second, you like kicked them thereafter. You like open the door to do so as well.
Yeah.
And then
seemed outrageous.
Yeah. Then you stole the phone.
Right. Yeah.
Which I'm not a lawyer.
But
I did look into the laws over there, and if my reading of them is correct, at least one of them could potentially be prosecuted as a felony. So he could lose his right to vote.
That would be hilarious.
It would be. It would be pretty funny.
Unfortunately, it's too late.
Yeah.
There was that one. Well, I guess I forget if it kind of sounded like he said it like not totally seriously, but it's knowing Trump, he may have had like an inkling of seriousness to the whole, like, you're not going to have elections anymore. Right. He did say those words about us not having elections. So
his mouth said a lot of things though.
It did. It's true. They probably said the opposite of that at some point about us having even more elections.
We're going to have twice as many elections. They're going to be the best elections.
Right. Yeah.
3 times as complicated.
Yeah.
There's we can talk about a lot for the when it comes to politics right now, but
we got a 666 donation. Thank
Ryan,
you very much.
Thank you very much. That's
a
greatly
lucky number.
It is. Actually, hold on. Chris, I noticed this one recently. You can actually heart those things.
I'm going to do that.
Yeah, you should do that.
Here I come.
Whoa.
There you go.
That's right.
There you
thank
go.
You.
Hearted.
Much appreciated, Ryan.
Got recognition through the heart system.
Yeah, the heart system.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Anyways, so
I
let's
can't
talk about
promise it
the
gives you an
the
extra
Quran,
life.
shall we?
Well, yeah, we have the study Quran. We got the Quran from the Quran Project. We got the Penguin Classics Quran, thematic commentary on the Quran.
We have Qurans from Abdullah Yusuf Ali, Maulana Muhammad Ali, and the Quran and the Bible from Gabriel Said Reynolds. And you know what? The Quran's going all right now that it's not so jumpy as it was.
Yes.
For like the first half of the second surah.
Well, it is getting different. The second surah, it's very long, and it's
No, the first half of it's just not. It's someone rambling. That's the first half of it.
it's interesting. I wonder if we should listen to it in Arabic. Like I know they do their chanting.
They do.
I wonder if there's like specific like poetic or musical elements that are obvious when it's like spoken aloud in Arabic.
Right, yeah.
But in English, knowing the Bible, it just seems like ill-informed secondhand storytelling for much
Yeah,
of it.
it's someone who heard about stories from the Bible and kind of repeated what they remembered. So
Yeah.
Good times. Good times.
So I believe people when they say that he was illiterate, because or at least I totally believe the fact that he didn't have a text
Yes.
to go off of.
Well, much,
That I believe.
Much in the way that, like, in the New Testament, there are misquotings
Oh yeah,
of
that's
the
true.
Old Testament. So probably, at the very least, he didn't have text on hand.
Right, yeah, and I could totally see this stuff being done by dictation.
Yeah.
So
Yep. Anyways, why don't I hop into it with verse 83.
yeah,
No clue.
absolutely.
Why not?
Well, I thought it was 84.
84.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
Also, hello, April. Good to see you.
Yes. Say, we believe in God and what has been sent down upon us, and in what was sent down upon Abraham, Ishmael, Isaac, Jacob, and the tribes, and in what Moses, Jesus, and the prophets were given from their Lord. We make no distinction among any of them, and unto him we submit.
So this is like the message essentially. This is the one that is given to all of like the legitimate prophets and all the legit ancestors, right?
Mm-hmm. Now, Surah 2, verse
This would also
100.
count like the Injil, right?
Mhm.
So I'm going to differentiate that from the Gospels, because like translations usually say Gospel, but to me that's just kind of complicated because because there's the actual texts that are the Gospels. So the Injil is supposed to be like the message behind
Yeah.
the Gospels, yeah, the
Because
original.
we
one.
also have reference to, like, the infancy gospel of
Yes.
Thomas.
Yep, we do.
And the infancy gospel of James.
Also, yes.
So the gospel is a very broad term
Yeah.
here. Here, yes, it is nearly identical to a verse from Surah 2. And so we have commentated on that. Obviously, here it's recalling the names of the patriarchs, including Jesus,
Right.
so as to differentiate themselves from the Christians.
Yep. Moses, Jesus, and the prophets. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. We make no distinction among any of them. Right? That's very explicitly not Trinitarian.
True.
stuff.
Yeah.
Whosoever seeks a religion other than submission,
So Islam.
mm-hmm,
Yeah.
it shall not be accepted of him. And in the hereafter he shall be among the losers.
Yeah, it does say losers. They'll be among the losers. Well, you know what? I guess we'll take it. You know, loser in life, loser in death. Am I right?
Mhm.
So, yeah, the cosmopolitan nature of the religion of Islam having been clearly set forth in the previous verse, it is now stated that anyone who refused to accept such a religion would unfailingly lose in the end.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's what we hear all the time.
Now hold on. Although some commentators record the opinion that considers 262, Whosoever believes in God in the last day and works in righteousness shall have their reward with the Lord. To have been abrogated by this verse, this type of abrogation is not recognized by mainstream Islamic law and Quran interpretation, since only a ruling or legal command can be abrogated, not a truth or report, such as one has here. However, the idea that 385 abrogates 262 is connected to the interpretation expressed by some commentators that this verse denies the acceptability of any form of religion other than that brought by the Prophet Muhammad.
Well, I think like other ones will not, because it talks about the hereafter, right? So like other ones, they are losers in the end, but like it's not the same as like the whole kill them kind of thing, kill the infidels kind of thing. So
More like taking the L.
Okay, so if we're considering it from a legal basis, it goes on to say this opinion that it denies the acceptability of any form of religion other than Islam is not without its inconsistencies, since it does not take into account the more general and universal use of Islam and Muslim in the Quran to refer to all true monotheistic religions, as in a number of verses.
yeah, because they're supposed to be about like the truth, and the truth is like all like you can't have more than one truth. There's just the truth. So in 262, the issue is whether the notion of belief or faith, iman, can be applied to Jews, Christians, and Sabaeans. Well, in this verse, the question is whether Islam, or submission to God, can include others beyond the followers of the Prophet Muhammad. Opinions seem to leave the interpretation open. Ibn Kathir, for example, understands a religion other than submission here to mean a path other than what God has laid down, which can include the people of the book. Also, sorry, while you're reading that, I want to ask Chet if we just glitched out. I saw us glitch out for a second. So I just want to see if that, for like a second, it went black, yeah.
The screen goes black.
No. I'm talking about our.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask if that was like caught, or if that's just like some lag on our side.
So Ibn Kathir argues that this can include the people of the book, while Zaman Qurashi says that this verse, Islam, submission, means recognizing divine unity, tawheed, and submitting one's face to God.
Hold on. So did we or did we not?
No, it's a question.
That was a question. Okay. Hopefully we did not drop. It looks like we have excellent connection is what it says.
Yeah,
so
on my end, it says we're dropping frames and that we have a mediocre connection on OBS, but over on here, it says fine.
Okay, yeah, so hopefully it didn't actually drop. Okay.
Nothing looks bad.
Gotcha, okay.
Let us know if there's any trouble with this.
Glitch for a few seconds. Got it, okay. Thank you.
Okay, the point is, this may include people who are Jews, according to Ibn Kathir. Zaman Qurashi says that Islam means recognizing divine unity and submitting to God, attributes not limited to the followers of Muhammad. Moreover, reading the verse in the context of...
people like to do that just to stretch out the definition of Islam, or of Muslim, I should say. Just to like put Jesus under there, right? So
well, it depends, because in the interpretation, right, you have to consider that there are these overarching major principles, and if one of them suggests that you ought read a verse in a certain way, then that may be the correct interpretation from the author.
Sure,
right? Yeah. So it really depends on your interpretation here. There are different attitudes about it. I'm going to move on.
Yeah.
How shall God guide a people who have disbelieved after having believed, having borne witness that the messenger is true, and the clear proofs having come to them, and God guides not wrongdoing people.
Yeah, so there was a part earlier that attempted to prove this stuff, but the thing is, it was just based on like, oh, if you accepted like these other religious texts, you would accept this one too. That was essentially their argument. There was no actual like, there was no actual like evidence ever given.
That's pretty based, Lawrence.
Yeah, right.
That last bit there, what does it say there for the last part of
and Allah,
verse 86?
Allah guides not the unjust people.
I mean, doesn't that just say like we can do no wrong?
Well, no. So the persons meant are those who, they believed in the former prophets and disbelieved in the holy prophet Muhammad, having clear signs of the prophet's truth with them and professing a belief in the prophets who had foretold the advent of the last of the prophets. They still disbelieved in him. Yeah. So that's why. So it's people who believe in other stuff. So Jews and Christians, but not Muslims. And he's like, well, you guys are just too far astray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There are those whose recompense is that upon them shall be the curse of God.
Oh, here's actually
the
something
angels
interesting. Hold on.
And mankind altogether.
Okay. Sorry for interrupting you there. There was just something interesting here. So Wahidi reports here a number of traditions which connect this verse to certain Muslims in the time of the Prophet who left their religion, but then hearing this verse returned to it. Assad, however, argues that Jews and Christians are intended. So, yeah, some people at least interpret this verse as, at least verse 86, as people who were Muslim and then were not Muslim, but then went back to being Muslim.
Mm-hmm. Yes, so as for the curse of God, the angels and mankind altogether abiding therein, the punishment shall not be lightened for them, nor shall they be granted respite, except those who repent after that and make amends, for truly God is forgiving, merciful. So it sounds like there's this like consequence to not being a believer.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this curse of Allah thing come up before.
Yeah, but you get there's this consequence of not being a believer, which is this curse. But if you are subject to the curse, you have a chance to repent at that point, which is different than, I think, Judaism or Christianity significantly, because there is really no like lead up. In fact, the Bible is very specific, right? When it talks about how people chase like worldly desires and they live,
definitely
like, great lives, but they don't know the Lord, right? Like that kind of thing is a very common biblical motif. So it seems like this is more unique to Islam.
Right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Anyways. Truly those who disbelieve after having believed, then increased in belief, their repentance shall not be accepted, and they are the ones who are astray.
Yeah, so I could see why people went to like, oh, maybe this is people who used to believe in Muhammad but didn't now.
So,
well, either way, this seems
apostates basically.
Yeah, but it would be an apostate that came back. But
oh wait, I misread that.
Except those who
then
repent after
increase in disbelief, right? Their repentance.
Yeah.
So, like, these are apostates who, after being apostates, then become like more explicitly anti-Islam.
Yeah, so they are going astray, which we could have guessed from everything else.
Who could have guessed?
Yeah.
You did? Oh,
I did actually.
gosh,
yeah,
you guys, good job.
Yeah, from context clues.
Words.
Yeah.
Truly, Those who disbelieve and die while they are disbelievers, an earth full of gold would not be accepted from any one of them were he to offer it in ransom. For them there shall be a painful punishment, and they shall have no helpers.
What about 6 earths of gold?
6 earths of gold.
That's right. Just one of those big asteroids that's filled with gold.
Yeah.
Just one
We could use one of those right now.
for that.
Well, we could use it for a lot of stuff, like, destroying this planet.
Wow, no, jeez, dude, that's intense.
Is it?
Yes.
I don't know. I feel like
Pretty intense.
current circumstances would mean there's not much of a difference.
Wow.
So here, offering expiation or ransom in this life, where such deeds are accepted by God if sincerely offered, is contrasted with trying to strike a bargain after one's life has ended and the opportunity to choose between good and evil is gone. The idea that even an earth full of goods is inadequate ransom in the hereafter is also mentioned in a number of other verses from a number of other surahs. The opposite of dying in disbelief, dying as a believer, is mentioned in other verses. And they're given a command in other verses to die, not except in submission. So, they're very explicit there. You will never attain piety till you spend from that which you love, and whatever you spend, truly God knows it.
So some sort of sacrifice, spend out of what you love.
It has to be personal, I guess.
Oh, yeah, spend out of what you hold dear. So I know that this is something in a lot of religious traditions where you have to, there has to be some kind of sacrifice, right? Whether it be like an actual thing or whether it be like a certain amount of money or something like that. Did we cut off for a second? Because it says we're live, but the thing paused. Yeah, it looks like.
It says we're going.
Right.
Refresh the page.
Well, the thing is, I don't know. Maybe you'll click play and see what happens because of players. Okay. Are we? I don't know if we're back or not.
No,
we're not.
Appear so.
You're back?
It happened again.
Okay.
One's back.
So
The beginning.
if you got to click the
Doesn't say
live button.
I'm trying to get it to where it says live and
Right, yeah. We're back? Okay. Good.
excellent. Okay.
They say
wow,
that
what the
they
fuck?
see us,
Yeah, that's weird.
and that is good enough for me.
Yeah, I guess we'll go with it. If something goes wrong again, let us know. Thank you, chat.
It's very strange because we have like an actual. Oh. Did it
See, I don't
happen
know.
again?
See, I don't know if
Oh,
I
just
should
refresh
even
this
trust that
page.
anymore. Is the thing.
Let me refresh the page.
So, hopefully we're still going.
Yes.
Yeah, it looks like
I
we
think
we
we're
are.
still going.
Oh god.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not
So-
entirely sure what's going on. We've had some issues recently, some connection issues.
Yep. Clearly.
Yes, we have.
Elon trying to. You know what? It might be Elon. You want to blame Elon?
Sure.
Sure, let's blame Elon.
Okay, he doesn't own YouTube, so.
That doesn't change blaming people.
No.
Blame anyone.
We don't have to worry about it so
Surely
much.
we can baselessly blame Elon. For
Yeah, yeah.
this.
Yeah, as long as we don't sue, it should be okay. Yeah.
It is explicitly baseless.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fair. We're gonna go ahead and blame Elon. But we are going to continue the reading, I guess, because it looks like we're okay right now.
Okay, where did we even leave off?
So I know that you read through 92.
Okay.
Right, because you have to give up something.
The point is sacrifice.
Yeah, some kind of sacrifice.
Yes.
Now, exactly what this means, the connection with the... Okay, so it says the connection with the last verse is clear. Here's why. No wealth will buy redemption for a man if he has wasted his opportunity here. And to make the best of that opportunity, a man must spend here what he loves most. Attention is thus called to the sacrifices which it was necessary for the Muslims to make. So I guess looking for something explicit here. I'm gonna
I see that.
yeah. While we're getting weird error messages, I'm gonna just keep talking. Yeah. So looking for something explicit. No, there's nothing explicit. But something is to be given up. There needs to be some kind of sacrifice, and it looks like maybe there are trials and tribulations.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably the only thing I can think of.
Trials and tribulations,
Yeah.
of course. Yep, Doge.
But I absolutely agree. This is the absolute worst timeline. In fact, I think I specifically said those words to Ruben before the stream started.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Pretty bad.
Yeah.
But anyways, let's keep reading the Quran like Muslims.
Yeah.
I guess.
Let's go.
All food was lawful unto the children of Israel, save what Israel had forbidden for himself before the Torah was sent down. Say, bring the Torah and recite it, if you're truthful.
Interesting. So they're saying that there were no dietary
laws.
provisions until the Torah.
That's us.
Except for the
At
ones
which
that they put
point-
on themselves, right?
Well,
Which is
technically-
exactly what that is.
Yeah, technically it is true. The Torah was, if you go along with the mythology, right?
Mm-hmm.
It was written by Moses.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And the content that he's
True.
referring to was delivered.
True. If you go with the mythology, sure.
Right.
Sure.
And so he's coming from a perspective that he's basically saying, hey, well, it was only you guys putting this limitation on yourselves. And if you think I'm wrong, cite the Torah. Well, why don't you look at what Reynolds has to say about it?
Right, yeah. So actually hold on. Let's get through 95 and then I'll cite what Reynolds has to say. And it looks like we are having another issue. Tarb says, did anyone else see that? April also says it happened to all of us. So
Still says we're going, man.
yes, okay, so it still says we're going.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going.
Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea. No idea. You know what? Today has just been a hectic day.
Yeah.
Been a hectic week, actually.
Great.
Life sucks. Anyways, I guess we should continue. Let's read through
Well,
95.
at least you can do religious studies
Yeah, technically.
right now.
Yeah.
For now.
Yeah.
Luckily, you're gonna graduate soon.
Right.
So
True.
Maybe
he won't destroy the Department of Education that fast.
Yeah, maybe you'll be able to get done with your degree
Right.
before the university stops existing.
Right,
or
yeah,
something.
exactly.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, what's going to happen? Who knows?
Yeah.
Anyways, I was talking about this challenge to the Jews,
Right, yeah. To cite the Torah.
but I thought Reynolds might have something.
No, he
to
does.
say
He
about
does.
it.
Just get through 95.
Okay. So whosoever fabricates a lie against God after that, it is they who are the wrongdoers. Say, God has spoken true. So follow the creed of Abraham, a Hanif, and he was not of the idolaters.
Yeah, so he's not one of the polytheists.
Mhm.
Of course, Hanif, upright one, is translated in here.
Yeah.
So here is Reynolds' comment on it. So Genesis 9:3 has God say to Noah and his sons, every living thing that moves will be yours to eat, no less than the foliage of the plants. I give you everything. That Israel forbade himself a certain food may be a reference to the prohibition of the thigh sinew connected to the story of the wrestling with a figure at Jabbok. Is that the one where he's wrestling the angel, which is actually God in some versions?
It might be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you want to check Genesis 32, or it says specifically Genesis 32:33. I'm going to continue on, though. The Quran here suggests that one should return to the example of Israel's grandfather Abraham, although, of course, the Quran does have have certain food prohibitions, notably pork, blood, and carrion.
Did you say 32, 33?
Yes.
It only goes up to 32.
Really?
Let me read the end.
Is it one of those ones that rolls over into the next chapter? So check I guess 33:1. Because sometimes they do that.
Well, hold on. I'm looking over a few things. A few things happen here. Keep going.
That was the end of the comment there.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
either way,
he rose that night, took to his 2 wives, 2 female servants, and 11 sons, crossed over the ford of the Jabbok. He took them, sent them over the brook, and sent over what he had. Then Jacob was left alone, and a man wrestled with him until he saw the breaking of day. Now, when he saw that he did not prevail against him, he touched the socket of his hip, and the socket of Jacob's hip was out of joint.
This is probably a typo. That's what it is. It says 32, 33, but it might mean like, because it says here if we maybe 32, 22, right? Because that's the section where it starts. Jacob wrestling God.
It says here, he said, "Your name shall no longer be called Jacob, but Israel, for you
renames him and he
struggled
wrestles
with God and with men, and have prevailed."
Yeah. Yeah. So that is that same story. But either way, it's really weird to say that Moses had that original message. But part of that message was those restrictions. But I guess you could also say it's been corrupted as your cop out. So
yeah, it says here, "Therefore to this day the children of Israel do not eat the muscle that shrank, which is in the hip socket, because he touched the socket of Jacob's hip in the muscle that shrank." Okay,
gotcha.
So the idea is that is a self-imposed dietary restriction.
Sure.
It's not necessarily in reference to the kosher laws.
Gotcha. But then he's saying that the kosher laws were only revealed with Moses, right? Or with the Torah. But at the same time, he was also talking about how Moses was one of the prophets with the original word. Ad revenue should be up for this video. Oh my God. Do you guys keep getting ads for every single time we glitch out?
That's insane.
That is insane.
Really? Wow. That's crazy.
The disappointment.
That fucking sucks.
No wonder we have
No, that doesn't show up right away. You're not going to see that number right away, Chris.
None of this is accurate. What we're looking at.
Yeah, probably not.
None of it's even the amount of money, because they take a cut.
Yeah, they do.
Not even that is accurate. They don't give you any useful information at all. Oh,
sure. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, if you have YouTube Premium, you wouldn't see an ad. I do use YouTube Premium. It's very useful. No ads and background play, which is super useful.
Indeed.
Yeah. Anyways,
why don't we continue?
So yeah, verse 96.
Yep. Verse 96, "Truly, the first house established for mankind was that at Baka, full of blessing and a guidance for the worlds." The first house established for mankind was at Baka.
So if you
another name for Mecca.
Yeah.
A different pronunciation.
There's quite a lengthy comment here from Reynolds, but get through 97.
Okay, well, there's quite a long comment here as well. So I'll get through 97. You can do your spiel, and then I'll do whatever is missing.
Okay.
Therein are clear signs. The station of Abraham, and whosoever enters it shall be secure. pilgrimage to the house is a duty upon mankind before God for those who can find a way. For whosoever disbelieves, truly God is beyond the need of the worlds.
Yeah, interesting. These translations are rough, honestly. Yeah, whoever disbelieves, surely Allah is above need of the worlds. So one quick comment here from Muhammad Ali. Well, yeah. So he does say that it's the same as Mecca when he's talking about Baka, but he also says that others say, some think that Baka is the name of the mosque or the house itself that is in Mecca. So here's the comment from Reynolds. So in Surah 2, in Surah 2, verse 127, the Quran describes how Abraham and Ishmael, quote, raised the foundations of the house. So we talked about that. Okay. In my commentary, I suggest that the house may not be the present-day Kaaba in Mecca, but rather Hebron or Jerusalem. Here, the Quran speaks of pilgrimage to the house and locates it in Baka. Commentators and translators, as a rule, identify Baka as Mecca, although there is no evidence outside of Islamic tradition for this identification.
How about that?
Karai and Assad both add notes explaining that Baka is another form of the word Mecca, and Hilal Khan put Mecca in parentheses in their translation, which is very interesting. Tafsir al-Jalain recounts, quote, when the Jews said, our direction of prayer came before yours, the following was revealed. The first house for worship established for the people on earth was that at Baka, a variant of Mecca, so called because it crushes the necks of tyrants, which apparently it's from the word tabuk, meaning the crowning together of men. Others say it is from a root meaning the breaking of the neck. So that is the connection there. It was built by the angels before the creation of Adam, and after it, the Aqsa in Jerusalem was built. A period of 40 years separating them. Baka may, and now we're back to Gabriel Said Reynolds. Baka may, in fact, be a reference to the Valley of Baka, located in the southern part of Jerusalem, and mentioned in Psalm 84:6, specifically in connection with pilgrimage. Blessed those who find their strength in you, whose hearts are set on pilgrimage. As they pass through the valley of Balsam, and it says here that it's a Emek Habaka, they make there a water hole, and a further blessing, early rain fills it. They make their way from height to height. God shows himself to them at Zion. So, interesting connection there.
Yes.
Yeah, Reynolds, this is a great commentary. Love it.
Yes.
Also, yes, in case you guys keep missing the very first like when we introduce these books, yes, one of them is written by someone named Maulana Muhammad Ali.
Yes. Indeed. Let me go over some things here. Baka, as you mentioned, could refer to the ground of the Kaaba itself. But some derive the name from the verb baka, meaning to crowd, in reference to the crowding that takes place as a result of a pilgrimage, or to the fact that only in Mecca do old men and women crowd together in the same place for prayer. Later scholars speculate as to whether the Valley of Baka, as you mentioned, right, in Psalm 84:6, refers to Mecca, a question that's highly dependent upon various elements in that psalm, including the meaning of Baka, which could be sweeping or balsam trees. One interpretation of the verse is that the Kaaba was not the first house ever built, but it was the first one established for all human beings, not only some, to come for worship. Others say it's first in being full of blessing and a guidance for the worlds, in which case first could connote the sense of foremost, as in I am the first of those who submit, referring to priority or status rather than temporal sequence. Commentators also mention interpretations based on traditional myths that describe the Kaaba's foundations as dating back to the time of Adam, thus interpreting the Kaaba as being literally the first house ever built, referring not to the stones from which it was built, but to the ground plan and the place where it stands. Now, Lawrence, what do you remember about a book which had Adam building a house of worship?
Oh my God. We had something like that.
We had that directly happen, I believe, in the life of Adam and Eve.
Was that in the life of Adam and Eve?
I think it was in the life of Adam and Eve.
Oh my God, I don't remember. I remember Satan fucking with them a lot.
Oh my God.
Man,
Do we have the life of Adam and Eve? I think we do.
yeah, should be in here somewhere.
We do.
This is volume 2. Wisdom Legends. It might be in the apocalyptic stuff. I'm gonna check. Yeah, Life of Adam and Eve. Oh no, it's in this one. It's in this one. Let's see. This might take me.
I remember there was like a whole bit, like towards the end, after they get kicked out of the garden, right? Lawrence will get to it, but while you're going over the book and finding the correct portion, I'll go over some other things. If one understands mankind as the people, namely the people of the region, it could mean that the Kaaba was the first temple established for the Arabs, which would reflect the story of Abraham and Ishmael described in Surah 2, verses 125 through 27.
You know what might speed this up? What if I check the index for any Quran references?
Whoa.
I'm not sure.
Do they not have biblical references in here? Out of all fucking things, they don't have... Okay, whatever. All right, whatever.
Wow, that's incredible.
Seriously.
Anyways, these clear signs could refer to the station of Abraham. So some say they refer to the footprints of Abraham that are believed to be preserved on the ground there. It may also mean that there are clear signs that this is indeed the structure built by Abraham and that God has exalted and blessed it. The station of Abraham, a place in the close vicinity of the Kaaba, is discussed in 2:125. There is a minority opinion that reads this in the singular clear sign, in which case it would refer to the station of Abraham. Whoever enters it shall be secure is read as some referring to the past, in which case it would be rendered whosoever entered it was secure, since in pre-Islamic Arabia, the haram, or precinct around the Kaaba, was a place where one could seek sanctuary and not be captured or arrested. Many believe that under Islam, the Kaaba and the haram no longer serve this function, and that one can no longer hide there from prosecution, and that any crimes committed there are equally liable to penalty, although the penalty is not carried out there. Another opinion holds that it is indeed a sanctuary, but that the person using it as a sanctuary must not engage in trade, speak with anyone, take up lodging, or be fed by anyone. This would essentially starve out the sanctuary seeker, who would then be prosecuted after leaving. In any case, if a crime takes place in the haram itself, then it cannot serve as a sanctuary from prosecution for that crime. Others point out that the majority allow punishment there, as the Prophet ordered the execution of Ibn Khattal, even though he was clinging to the curtains of the Kaaba when the Muslims conquered Mecca. Some note that since, as a matter of historical fact, some people were indeed not secure after the revelation of this verse, it must refer to the past. Some say that secure could mean it shall be made secure, so that it's a command that people are meant to follow but might violate. Another interpretation is that whoever enters the house in order to perform its rites will be safe from the fires of hell, although other instances of the word secure suggest a more conventional usage referring to physical safety in this world. Indeed, in treating 2:126, many commentators point to the hadith regarding the limited but real violence during the conquest of Mecca, i.e. the killing of Ibn Khattal and a handful of others, when the Prophet said, "This land was made inviolable by God on the day the heavens and the earth were created. It is inviolable by God's inviolability until the day of resurrection. Killing was not permitted to anyone therein before and to none after me. It was only permitted to me for an hour of a day." And the pilgrimage being a duty is a consistent thing in Islam.
Yeah, that pops up everywhere.
Yeah.
We've even been over it a few times already.
Were you able to find what you were looking for?
No, I was not. And maybe it's somewhere in there. Maybe it's a different book entirely. Maybe it wasn't the Life of Adam and Eve. Maybe it was like...
I definitely recall there was at least one story where Adam sets up a house of worship. And I don't recall what it was in. It would be really nice if I did.
Right, yeah. I'm looking at some of the other stuff that it could have been in. Let's see. It wasn't in any of the Maccabees books. Definitely wasn't in the Odes of Solomon, I don't think. I don't think it was in, like, the Prayer of Manasseh or, well, these. We didn't read these as much.
No. But anyways, while you're looking for that, I'm going to start moving on. Say, "O people of the book, why do you disbelieve in God's signs while God is witness over what you do? Say, O people of the book, why do you turn those who believe from the way of God, seeking to make it crooked while you are witnesses? And God is not heedless of what you do."
Was it the Treatise of Shem? Was it maybe one of the books of Ezra?
Oh, I don't know.
Man, I have really don't. We've read so much stuff.
We have.
Wait, was it the Apocalypse of Adam?
It might have been the.
Might have been the Apocalypse of Adam.
Check the Apocalypse of Adam.
All right.
Because I do get them mixed up sometimes.
Yeah, easy to mix up.
Well, it is, and really, like, if you think about the Gnostic stuff about Adam and Eve,
Right, yeah, that
like,
gets even crazier.
it's so easy to mix it up because there's just like wacky shit happening at all times.
Some of it makes the narrative actually more convoluted.
Anyways, the prophets commanded to challenge the people of the book regarding their rejection of him. Some interpret their attempts to make the way of God crooked as an act of misdirection, since when they were asked about it, the people of the book denied that Muhammad was foretold in their books. It's understood not as a physical hindering, but as a desire on their part to misguide Muslims and turn them away from their own religion by making it crooked, that is, making it appear false, in order to create doubt in the minds of as many Muslims as possible. That there are witnesses refers to the fact that they should be conscious of the messenger's presence among them, and that the truths of the prophet teaches are not unfamiliar to them, but are in fact found in their own sacred books, which is a consistent theme in the Quran, even if it's not true.
Damn, yeah, I'm gonna have to look at this stuff later, because there's no way I'm gonna find it right now, but it would be really cool, because I do kind of remember something like that.
I definitely remember it happening.
Okay,
but we also know that Abraham sets up his worship sites.
He does, yeah. Maybe, are you mixing up with Abraham potentially?
No, I don't think so. I think there was definitely one where Adam
does it.
and his sons.
Okay.
Like, it goes into detail about, like, the design of the sanctuary. And
Was it Baruch? No, I don't think it was Baruch. I don't know.
I think it even ends with, like, a corny, like, and this is left there until this day.
Right, one of those.
thing.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm going to have to check afterwards.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll use Chat GPT to point us in the right direction.
We'll
It
see
knows
how
everything.
works. Yeah, we'll see how it works. Poorly, probably.
Oh, you who believe. If you obey a group among those who were given the book, they will render you disbelievers after your having believed.
So you'll be fooled by them.
So how can you disbelieve while God's signs are recited to you and his messengers among you?
Yeah.
And whosoever holds fast to God is indeed guided unto a straight path.
I mean, the obvious issue with this is, God, what's the fallacy?
How can you possibly believe that I'm the Messiah? I'm right here.
How could you possibly not believe?
Or how could you possibly not believe?
Yeah, there you go.
that
Yeah,
I'm the Messiah.
yeah,
I'm
right here. Yeah, it's
Not the Messiah. Right?
I know what you mean.
He's a messenger.
But it has a specific word for it. Begging the question.
I guess.
If you want to put it into a syllogism.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. Nothing about the Quran is syllogistic.
No, it's not. No, but I'm saying like where you make the assumption before you construct the argument.
Mm-hmm. It would be interesting. I wonder if
presupposing, I guess, right? But
it'd be I wonder if this has been done. A study on Quranic arguments.
Yeah, how many people has it convinced you?
Well, no, not how many people is it convinced, but like what form do?
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Is literary.
That'd be fun.
Yes, it would. Oh, you who believe, reverence God as he should be reverenced, and die not except in submission.
So only die as a Muslim.
Mm. And hold fast to the rope of God altogether, and be not divided. Remember the blessing of God upon you when you were enemies, and he joined your hearts, such that you became brothers by his blessing. You were on the brink of a pit of fire, and he delivered you from it. Thus does God make clear unto you his signs, that haply you may be rightly guided.
So let's see. This is 103b. Before the advent of the Holy Prophet, the Arabs were in a state of continual warfare, which threatened to devastate the whole country. As a modern writer says, quote, a more disunited people it would be hard to find till suddenly the miracle took place. It should be noted that the Arabic literature and in the Quran, Na'ad or fire, is often a symbol of war. Well, yeah, sure. So I did want to point out one thing about the whole dying a Muslim thing. So Muslims have this belief where I forget the actual phrase, but it's an Arabic phrase that you say that if you say it on your deathbed, you die a Muslim, and in their view, you're going to heaven. Because it's like something about like accepting Allah and Muhammad, I think, something like that. And if it's just like one special phrase that you got to say to, like if you weren't already a Muslim, but you're like on your deathbed or something, you just say it and you'll just die a Muslim in there.
Is it the first surah?
No, it's much shorter. It's like a line. Yeah. But I forget.
The first surah is like a line.
No, that one's like 7 lines. But it's a specific thing, and it was really funny. I was talking to one of my Muslim friends about it, and he was like, "Do Jews have to say anything to become Jewish?" I'm like, "Well, they have a whole ritual for it." But he's kept asking about something specific they have to say, and I'm like, "No, they don't have. You just do the whole mikvah thing, and it's a whole process. You got to probably recite something. So, and every religion is different for that. Mm-hmm. But he was always asking for like, but what's the phrase you say? I'm like, not every religion has a phrase that you say.
Oh, he wants a way out.
Right. Yeah, you must. Yeah.
Yep. So that on his
you
deathbed,
can do a line and go to heaven. Absolutely.
Yep. So if you're concerned that Islamic heaven is real, then I guess you can do a little line.
Yeah.
No matter what, at the end of your life,
you can do a line.
Great.
Let's go.
Wonderful.
Oh boy,
it's party time.
So, where was I? At the end of 103. Yeah. Let there be among you a community calling to the good, enjoining right and forbidding wrong. It is they who shall prosper.
I mean, I can probably take over from here.
Yeah, you should take over from here. I've read about half.
Yeah. So that was 104?
Yes, that was 104. You're taking over from 105. Some interpret enjoining right and forbidding wrong to be two kinds of good, mentioned in the first part of the verse, to which one calls others. Others say that one can interpret the right as what is considered good and beautiful in one's consciousness, and the wrong as what's considered bad and ugly, meaning that right and wrong are determined not only through religious teaching, but also by one's innate moral consciousness.
Oh, that's
interesting. Yes, the prophet said in answering a question about piety, consult your heart. Piety is that which the soul and heart find, is that by which the soul and heart find peace.
Gotcha. Okay. So 105. Yeah. Verse 105.
Yep.
Do not be like those who became divided into sects and differed after manifest signs had come to them. For such there will be a great punishment. So yeah, the Quran might here, well, I know that it's referring to Christians and Jews, and all of their shenanigans. The Quran regularly refers to the divisions between them. The Quran is also aware of divisions among them. Yeah, no shit. But among the Christians internally. And I also want to point out that there are also Muslim sects. They all say like, well, no, it is like the Quran is like the thing that is true, and then they disagree about interpretations, but that's what a sect is.
Yeah.
Like,
so literally sectarian.
Yeah, like they all, like, Christians will say that like the Bible is true, but then all have different interpretations. Anyways, so like that's just as much of a sect.
Yes.
So unless you have anything to add, I can go to 106.
Yes. Read 106 through 107. Okay.
On the day when some faces will turn white and some faces will turn black. For such there will be a great punishment on the day when some faces will turn white and some faces will turn black. As for those whose faces turn black, they will be told, "Did you disbelieve after your faith? So taste the punishment because of what you used to disbelieve. But as for those whose faces become white, they shall dwell in God's mercy, and they will remain in it forever."
So on the days either is directly connected to the previous verse or stands alone with an implied word.
It's definitely about the day of judgment.
Yeah, it sounds like it. As for those whose faces blacken, faces blackening is an Arabic idiom describing a state of distress, shame, or grief. When a man's face blackens upon hearing the news of an infant girl's death in 43:17, for instance, a similar meaning's invoked in 10:26, where it said that neither darkness nor abasement will come over the faces of the virtuous. Blackened faces are also mentioned in 39:60. Conversely, When faces whiten denotes joy and relief, and spiritually refers to the light of faith. Verse 106 is interpreted by some to refer to Muslims who renounce their faith before they die. Others interpret it as the renunciation or disavowal of the primordial pretemporal covenant when human beings bore witness that God was their Lord, or as a reference to hypocrites generally, insofar as they attest to faith and then knowingly commit actions that contradict it. Those who disbelieve are variously identified as all disbelievers in general, or as various sects that appear in later Islamic history after the death of the Prophet, including the Khawarij, a puritanical movement that emerged within a generation of the Prophet's death.
Interesting.
Some commentators adduce various ahadith of the Prophet that describe visions he had of the hereafter, where, to his dismay, some companions were driven away from his presence. In the vision, the Prophet was told that he did not know what they would do after him.
So Tarb says that the Khawarij equals the red turbans.
Interesting. We should look into it more.
Never heard of it, but yeah, very interesting. Also, did you know that Muslims have their own sect of Amish?
Really?
Whoa.
Yeah.
What?
Sufi.
Oh.
Yeah, Sufism.
Oh.
Yeah.
Are they Amish?
Well, they're essentially the equivalent, like where they try to like live as
minimal technology.
Yeah, like as they try to live as like Muhammad did, so like even more minimal.
Yes.
Than the Amish, but it's the same idea.
Got it.
You know, the entire philosophy behind that, the world does not operate in the way it did when Muhammad.
Not even a little.
Yeah. So, like,
gotta adapt.
I don't see it as a successful endeavor.
No. So the. Where was it? I thought I had something to say, but I didn't. Oh, right. This new motif of like these faces, right? So yeah, you said that like, oh, they could just be like distress or gladness or whatever, right? Which does seem to be the consensus, right? Although this one, this commentary, it doesn't actually make it clear that they're just talking about like emotions. It references an expression of personality, but when it actually talks about the colors, it just it doesn't like say that that it's an expression that it's only like in idiomatic thing. But this is the one off. Otherwise, these guys seem to agree on that.
Indeed.
Yeah. So moving on.
Yes.
108. Yeah, 108. These are the messages of Allah which we recite to thee with truth, and Allah desires no injustice to his creatures. And to Allah belongs whatever is in the heavens and whatever is in the earth, and to Allah are all affairs returned.
One reading of verse 108 says that God doesn't desire that human beings do wrong. Another reading connects this verse with 109 and says that God has no need to wrong or be unjust to anyone or anything, since he has the power over all things and all things belong to him. Or it simply means that God does not, in fact, wrong anyone. These verses raise the question of God's relationship to good and evil. Namely, what does it mean to say that God desires no wrong for the worlds? One perspective, typified in Asherite theology, states that God does no wrong because wrong, zulm, is definable as trespassing upon what belongs to another. Since everything belongs to God, nothing he does could amount to a wrong. Another prominent perspective, typified by the Mutazilite.
Oh, never mind. Tarver was apparently
theology.
Wrong. Something from modern fiction. All right, fair enough. Thank you for correcting yourself. I appreciate that.
So the Mutazilite school of theology states that God is always just, and what is just or unjust are objective features of the world recognizable by human beings. Some philosophers and Sufis make a distinction between God's prescriptive command and the engendering command. The former refers to what God asks of human free will, and the latter to God's power to create. Being free, human beings can oppose what God does not want, but cannot oppose what God wills to be.
You know, this seems like it's taken from a lot of biblical ideas about God, about
but there are differing views.
Yeah, because this one, it seems like in the end, like when it says that all affairs return to him, like it's very much like, oh, he's like the ultimate judge, and because of that, there will be no injustice, or he desires no injustice. Either way, I can continue.
Yeah, why don't you?
I'm gonna move on to Reynolds. Actually, you are the best nation ever brought forth to for mankind.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Whoa.
Okay.
That's what it says. You are the best nation
This
ever
guy
brought
could
forth
win
for mankind.
elections.
Yeah. That's what it says right there. I wonder why he was so popular. You bid what is right and forbid what is wrong, and have faith in God. And if the people of the book had believed, it would have been better for them. Among them, some are faithful, but most of them are transgressors. Yeah. You know, make them happy, I guess. Tell them they're amazing. Tell them they're the best.
Some understand this verse to mean that Muslims are destined to be the best religious community, as already written in the preserved tablet, and that it's implied that Muslims should live up to this destiny.
Oh, yeah, then this is fun. Not only are the Muslims the chosen people of God, who are now called upon to be the standard bearers of truth in the world, but they are at the same time declared to be the best of the people that have ever been chosen for this purpose. That's so funny. Just directly like, yo, you know, those Jews think they're the chosen people. No, actually, that's us, and we're better.
Now, best community may also refer to those who are the best people towards other people, which is the domain of enjoining right and forbidding wrong, and explains why action is placed before faith in this verse.
Oh yeah, Christians do the same thing too. There was I forgot about this about I see a number of New Testament passages such as 1 Peter 2, which paraphrases Exodus. Yeah, so it also includes that like you'll be like a great community and all that stuff. I remember this. Oh yeah, but you have a chosen race, a kingdom of priests, a holy nation. Yeah. All right.
Many understand among them are believers as a reference to prominent Jews and Christians who embraced Islam, such as Abd Allah ibn Salam, the Abyssinian Negus, who provided sanctuary for many Muslims during the early persecutions by the Meccans. According to this later interpretation, the Negus became a Muslim himself, but this is problematic and contradicts other accounts.
As tradition.
Yep.
All right, I'll continue on then. So 111. They will never do you any harm except for some hurt. And if they fight you,
What?
this is so funny.
Some hurt.
They won't hurt you except for the times that they will.
I don't bite except when I rip your arm off.
Yeah, they will turn their backs to flee, then they will not be helped.
The hurt, adha, refers to an insult or a taunt or to blasphemous claims about God. That the people of the book would, when challenged with physical danger, turn their backs is also mentioned in 59:12, where it also says that they will not be helped. Not being helped or not having helpers is a fate often associated with perdition in the hereafter. And
Everywhere in the
world.
Psalms. Yeah, they will have no helpers or they will have no help. All right, continuing on. Which is just so funny to me, though. Like, the whole, like, you won't get hurt except for the times that you will get hurt. Let's see, 112. Whenever they are found, abasement is stamped upon them, except for an asylum from God and an asylum from the people. They have earned the wrath of God, and poverty has been stamped upon them. That because they would deny the signs of God and kill the prophets unjustly. That because they would disobey and commit transgressions.
So, similar themes are addressed in 261. They're understood by some to refer to the status of the people of the book.
Almost the same words, excluding the exception, occur in 261.
Mm-hmm. So they're understood by some to refer to the status of the people of the book during times of war, when they are belligerents whose property could be legitimately seized as spoils and children taken as prisoners, among other things. Others say the abasement refers to the jizya, the indemnity levied on non-Muslims, and dhimmi.
Right.
The state of living as a non-Muslim, where you would be a second-class citizen that was practiced in many, many, many Muslim-majority nations.
Yeah. Continuing on here with 113.
Mm-hmm.
Yet they are not all alike. Among the people of the book is an upright nation. They recite God's signs in the watches of the night and prostrate. They have faith in God and the last days and bid what is right and forbid what is wrong, and they are active in performing good deeds. Those are among the righteous. I'm just going to finish this one section. Whatever good they do, they will not go unappreciated for it. And God knows well the God-weary.
Whether these verses refer to the Muslims or the people of the book depends on how the upright community is identified in verse 113.
Well, the thing is, I would say that
and how among them are believers is interpreted.
when they say, yeah, exactly. When they say like among the righteous or something like that, like to me, like among the righteous or the righteous there would carry the assumption about being a Muslim. So then the saying that people of the book that are like they are not all alike, like so some of them are actually very good. So I would say that this section is talking about the Jews that are actually, or the people of the book, I guess, so Jews and Christians, that are actually good and will be saved.
So some understand they will not be denied it as a way of reassuring former Jews who were grieved by assertions of their former co-religionists that their actions were futile now that they had abandoned Judaism and embraced Islam.
There's something super important here on this. All right, continue on though. So 116. As for the faithless, neither their wealth nor their children will avail them anything against God. They shall be the inmates of the fire, and they will remain in it forever.
So some note that wealth and children are thought to be the most dependable and beneficial goods in life, but they will nevertheless be of no use to anyone in the hereafter.
Right.
Elsewhere, the Quran states that wealth and children will not avail save for him who comes to God with a sound heart. Possessing wealth and children deludes the disbeliever into a sense of security and superiority simply because he possesses wealth and children, a theme developed in various verses. So this is going to be common throughout the Quran.
The parable of what they spend in the life of this world is that of a cold wind that strikes the tillage of a people who wrong themselves, destroying it. God does not wrong them, but they wrong themselves. So, a cold wind.
Other verses invoke the wind's destructive power in order to describe how uprooted and sterile the actions of disbeliever are in this life. In this verse, the wind is cold, while in 266, it burns. And in 14:18, the deeds of disbelievers are already ashes waiting to be blown away. verses including the nourishing dimension of the wind include a whole bunch of them. The wronging of oneself is mentioned numerous times. But I think that the wind here is the parable that is being told. If we want to refer to it as a parable, it's more like an allegory.
Sure, yeah. What they spend in the life of this material world may be likened to a wind. Goes on to say in this commentary, at least, false spending may be either in false charity or in having a good time. For the man who resists God's purpose, neither of them is any good. The essence of charity is faith and love. Where these are wanting, charity is no charity. Some baser motive is here, or is there, ostentation, or even worse, getting a person into the giver's power by a pretense of charity, something that is connected with the life of this grasping material world. What happens? You expect a good harvest, but while you think, good, easy. This is awfully written. I'm going to stop reading this. This is terrible.
Yeah. So let me just.
It is just so poorly written. I can't even totally follow it. It is awful.
So what I was saying is that, like, the wind here, it sounds like the scene that's being set up is that the people like planted some plants and then it got cold out.
And there was a wind and knocked everything down. They took no precautions.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They didn't take the proper precautions, and then they blame God for it when it was their own fault for not taking the precautions. God set up the rules, and they just failed to follow them.
Yep. Interesting way to view morality. Anyways, so on to 118. Mm. Oh, you who have faith, do not take your confidants from others than yourselves. They will spare nothing to ruin you. They are eager to see you in distress. Hatred has already shown itself from their mouths, and what their breasts hide within is yet worse. We have certainly made the signs clear for you, should you exercise your reason.
So I think this is pretty explicit, and again, this is a value that's popped up previously in this surah even.
Right, yeah.
That you should not associate with people who are not part of the Islamic faith.
Well, the thing is, it seems like you shouldn't really try to.
You shouldn't trust them. You shouldn't
you should always trust them less than Muslims is a thing.
And you shouldn't take them as close friends.
Right, yeah. The section in I know which one you're talking about earlier about not having them as friends. The way that it was written kind of seemed like, well, if you had to choose one, you have to pick the Muslim. If you had one friend slot open.
But it's pretty explicit here.
Yeah, that is true. These are from others than yourselves. Yeah, definitely. All right. Continuing on then. I
wonder.
No.
Is there a sola scriptura Islamic?
That's a good question. I don't know.
Because the commentary here has very much been this person said this. There's a hadith that says this.
Right.
This theological school says this. Right. So there's a lot of back referencing to all sorts of extra Quranic literature, which is theoretically helpful, but if it's ideologically slanted, then it's theoretically the opposite of helpful. And so, I wonder, because if you're just reading the Quran in a straightforward manner and not taking the tradition of these different scholars, if you're sola scriptura, then you might come to very different interpretations about even what the verses are referring to. Yeah.
Okay. So it looks like from this verse, there's at least an other translations, it looks like there's a fear associated with associating with these other people because they could corrupt you. Mm-hmm. And they have like those, they're the ones who are like in their hearts are all secretly evil, like the ones in Proverbs that hide out in the alleys and shit like that.
Yeah.
So he's just saying like, accept the things I have told you and move on.
In this vein, Al-Qurtubi bemoans the fact that in his day, Muslims were relying on Jews and Christians as scribes and secretaries, although this is a reflection of the society of his day. Others interpret this as a statement on human nature in general, mentioning a hadith that states, God has sent no prophet nor acquainted any vicegerent, save that he had two groups of intimates. One group enjoins and encourages what is right, while the other enjoins and encourages what is evil. He is protected who is protected by God, which is interpreted to mean that God will protect those whom he wills from the evil promptings of those who are close to them. So it depends on how seriously you take that hadith.
Yeah.
You may potentially morally abrogate the prohibition on having friends who aren't Muslims.
Yeah. All right, continuing on. Mm-hmm. That was 118. You are the ones who bear love toward them, while they do not love you, though you believe in all the books. When they meet you, they say, we believe. But when they are alone, they bite their fingertips at you out of rage. I'm guessing that was just a thing you did when you're angry. Like it's like biting your thumb at someone.
Yeah,
I guess.
They bite their fingers at you from rage.
Yeah.
Finish the verse.
Say, die of your rage. God indeed knows well what is in the breasts, or in the heart, I should say, is the understanding there.
So there's no commentary about biting the fingertips in rage. I suppose this is just some kind of idiom, or maybe something that culturally occurred. That's as a behavior.
Guess. Yeah. I bite my thumb at you.
Yeah, I bite my thumb at you. I do have a little bit of commentary, but it's sparse. It says here that die in your rage is interpreted to be a call to increase the cause of their rage.
Also,
so it means to troll them.
Yeah, that would be trolling them. Yeah, I would say so. Also, just to be abundantly clear here, so I did try learning Arabic once.
Really?
Yeah, I did Duolingo for 50 days.
It's theoretically very similar to Hebrew as
right.
a Semitic language.
It's very difficult. It's very hard.
The TypeScript is, I don't understand it.
Right. So I can pick out a couple letters here. I don't know I don't know when I said that I wouldn't learn Arabic. Maybe I did a long time ago, but I tried learning Arabic and it was very hard, so I stopped.
That's similar.
But
yeah.
I even for Hebrew, I've learned the alphabet and I at least use that sometimes, for Bible stuff, so I can read a word without knowing what it means now, which I guess is something. Better than nothing.
It is better than nothing.
Yeah. So I don't know, maybe at some point I'll get that way with Arabic. But I feel like there's no way I'm going to be able to learn Arabic without an actual instructor, because it's hard.
Yeah, even
maybe I'll take an Arabic class in graduate school or something.
When I look at Arabic, written Arabic, I have no idea what I'm even looking at.
Well,
it just, I don't know where there's breaks in words.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
I can. Let's see. This right here, I don't know if you can even see this with your eye holes. This one right there, right here. See this? The little comma with the line above it? Yeah, so the little comma with the line above it, that's what it looks like because I had to describe this to Ruben. It's very small text. That's an and. That means and. Wa. I know that, so I can pick that out. And it's included in part of the next word. So like you often will not see a space between and whatever you're connecting. So that's something I remember. And like I pick out like like a K and A, a couple letters here and there. So it's it's a tough language.
It is tough. It's interesting looking. I just have no idea what I'm looking at.
Yeah, I imagine this would be incredibly difficult to read.
Mm-hmm.
You have to get very, very good at it. All right. Last verse?
Last verse?
Yeah. If some good befalls you, it upsets them. But if some ill befalls you, they rejoice at it. Yet, if you are patient and God-wary, their guile will not harm you in any way. God indeed encompasses what they do.
And that is the end of the reading for the day. What did you think of our readings for today?
They were fine. I think they were fine. Yeah, no major curiosities, I guess. Except for the Adam thing that we've looked into. Mm-hmm. But aside from that, everything seems pretty par of the course, honestly.
Yeah. A lot of it is. Well, it does certainly make itself distinct from Judaism and Christianity. Theologically in a number of ways.
It always points back to the whole why don't you believe I'm actually, hold on. Yeah, no, I'm going to go with this. Why don't you believe I'm the prophet? I'm right here.
Yeah.
Yeah,
there's a lot of
arguments that would not actually work anywhere. So,
honestly, it's weird how much this is present in the Quran.
Like that kind of argumentation?
No, that they talk about disbelievers so much. Okay, think about the Bible. When is the first mention of explicit non-belief? When do they start talking about idolaters as a major thing that they want to address?
Well, I mean, I guess outside of the commandments, and that's the closest you get to that. Also, it seems
it's not super frequent.
I don't know if we're still streaming or not because the thing glitched out.
We may or may not still be streaming. Everybody in the audience, give us your energy. Let us know how.
Lend me your ears. We're still on. Okay,
we're
gotcha.
Still on. Okay, so
sorry.
Anyways, there's just a lot of weird defensiveness here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Why is it so frequently oh, you who disbelieve, you're so wrong, and you who believe, you're so great. You who believe, you're gonna
it happens a lot.
Get all these rewards.
Yeah.
You who disbelieve, you're gonna suffer. But it's so much of that.
Yeah, they really ramped up on that. It's even more than in Christianity. Like the New Testament has that stuff quite often. This is more often.
So there are stories and things, but at certain points, it almost feels like the entirety of what Islam is doing is saying, Muhammad's the prophet, believe in him. What's he prophesying about? Well, we're going to spend most of the time avoiding that. Just telling you to believe in him.
Yeah. Well, maybe we'll get to actual substantive stuff later on.
Yeah, maybe. Careful. I mean, it's not totally uninteresting how they differentiate themselves, but the fact is that they've just been differentiating themselves.
Right, yeah. And just, putting themselves up. Yeah. But either way, it's been interesting so far.
Yep.
Yeah.
Anyways.
That's the reading for the day.
Yep.
And you know what you should do? We got some shirts. And I think everyone should get a shirt because that helps us out. Everyone should become a patron
If you're not wearing a shirt,
if you can afford to be a patron, that'd be great.
If you can afford to wear a shirt,
yeah, you need a shirt. You need a shirt right now.
I
bet you dollars to donuts Ryan is naked right now, and that man needs a shirt. So get yourself a shirt, Ryan.
Yep. And I don't know. There's Discord. There's
Discord, Facebook, I guess. I'm not even going to use Twitter anymore. Like I barely already use it, but I'm just not going to use it anymore, honestly.
Dang, man.
It's gotten worse and worse and worse over time.
I deleted Twitter before it became Elon Twitter.
I deleted it after we quit that other thing we all were in.
Right, yeah. So yeah, all the other social media, do that.
And if you don't, then I don't know. God's gonna curse you or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Jeez, guys, that's intense.
Yeah.
Is it? It's not a threat. There is no such thing as God.
But it could be a threat, potentially.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
$0. What are you going to be doing?
Anyways.
I think that's
it says so. That's what it says.
So.
Anyways,
I thought it said $0.
Yeah.
There must be something.
Anyways, that's the show for the day. And that's all the shilling got to do. And we will see you on Wednesday, the next one, a week from now, to read the Quran.